in the studio.
Good afternoon, Audrey, and good afternoon to the viewers as well.
So perhaps you could give some clarity with regards to the cards of the Sassa beneficiaries and to just clear whatever misunderstandings that could be happening with regards to the post office taking over and, of course, CPS still being kind of in charge until that contract is ended, according to the Constitutional Court.
Yeah. No, I think, Audrey, this is what we basically call the phasing in and phasing out. We're actually phasing out the CPS and we're phasing in the South African Post Office. So the intention is to make sure that gradually people get new Sassa cards. But I think at play we are going to unveil something very nice on the 3rd of May, which is going to be a Sassa card that is going to be available, officially. But we just wanted to clear some confusion, because we know that there are people who have been going to our communities that the Sassa card has changed and they must do all sorts of things. Recently, we had an advert which was done by a Green Rod, and what one will say popularly known as a green card. Basically, it's an EPE card. They did their advert about advertising their product, and which I think we must put it very clear that there's absolutely nothing wrong which they did. It is within their right to promote their product.
Right.
However, the problem which we had, and there's a letter which was written to the CEO of Green Dot that they must pull off the advert, because they cannot advertise their product at the back of the South African Social Security Agency card. So in the advert, it seems extremely confusing, because you have a Sassa card and a green card on the same advert.
Right.
So there's a letter which we wrote to the CEO of Green Road that within 5 working days, we expect them to pull down the advert.
Okay, and are they agreed to clear this confusion that they seem to have caused?
We don't know, but all that we want to say, Audrey, is that we don't want to go back to the confusion.
Okay.
And there's been a very lot confusion which was there in our communities. We are trying to make sure that things go very smoothly. But the content of the letter said we expect them to pull it down within 5 working days. And I think if they don't do that, which I doubt, because I think that advert is extremely confusing. If they don't do that, we just made it very clear that we will definitely take legal action against them. I'm sure you know, Audrey, I mean, why Bank X would go and talk about this product, but in the process of talking about this product, say, come to us, we offer good rates and so on. However, another bank Y, also you can also use that particular bank and so on. A bank must make sure that they advertise and they market their product without abusing the relationship or without abusing another brand. Right.
So let's go forward and clarify some of that confusion that you're talking about. What, as Sassa, would you like to tell the recipients of this, the beneficiary from Sassa, not to be confused by?
Yeah, our message is very clear, which is going to the beneficiaries, because remember, the current Sassa card which we are using, we're given permission to use it to extend its lifespan, because remember, the current contract which we have with CPS is only ending in September. So we did not want to put beneficiaries in a bad light. We just wanted to make sure that the card keeps on operating. So they must hold on to their cards, because that card is still valid. So beneficiaries must not panic. But as an organization, we have a way in which we communicate with our beneficiaries. We know how we communicate with our beneficiaries. Hence, we know that on the 3rd of May, we are going to unveil our new products.
Okay, so that's when the lifespan of the current card perhaps comes to an end.
No, the lifespan is up until the current contract ends, which is September.
Right.
However, we don't want our beneficiary. What they are doing, they just want people to clock our offices to say we're going to come and exchange the card. There's a process which we are going to set in motion. We are going to identify certain sites where people are just going to do card swapping when we introduce the new card. But we can tell the public that on the 3rd of May, there is a new product that we are going to unveil, but we can't say it now. It's just the goodies which we are keeping for the beneficiaries. The intention was just to clarify to the beneficiaries that we, as the South African Social Security Agency, we have our own card, and we don't want Green Road, when they advertise their green card, to advertise a green card and put a Sassa card next to it and confuse our beneficiaries.
So what is the danger of using this green card that you're not recommending as Sassa?
Look, that is not a Sassa card. we've got no reason to talk about the product of somebody else. But we just want to the beneficiaries to know, because if you leave Sassa platform and you go and open a card somewhere, you must know that if you experience problems, you are actually taking your data. You're actually taking your information out of the South African Social Security agents. You are giving it to someone else. And hence, when people get problems with their money being deducted for either a cell phone or electricity or whatever, it will be difficult for us as an organization to intervene. Hence, we just want to assure our beneficiaries that they must hold on. Our beneficiaries know how we communicate with them. No one must impose themselves to be our spokesperson or to confuse the beneficiaries deliberately that we are together with the South African Social Security agents. Okay. Our card has not changed. When it changes, we have a way in which you communicate with the beneficiaries.
And with regards to that communication, I mean, obviously you have the platform like the AN7 to be able to communicate that information. But for those that don't have access to television or DSTV, do you have some kind of awareness campaign to make sure that they know exactly what is going on and the accurate information reaches, your target?
Part of our campaign is to basically go to places where we know that the information will disseminate quickly. The schools, the hospitals. We have program to go to the churches. We also have a program to go to meet with the traditional leaders. We also have a program to meet with councillors, because you are right. I mean, we cannot only come to the TV or radio, but we have all those particular platforms of which we know that we can be able to reach to our communities. But the intention is to make sure that there's no confusion. Audrey, we had a lot of confusion which was caused for the past 2 years. We don't want that. We have passed that stage. We are trying to make sure that things are run smoothly, and we don't want people to come and plant another confusion to our beneficiaries.
No, absolutely. There's been a lot of anxiety surrounding, Sassa and beneficiaries, whether or not they will get their grants and whatnot. What else are you doing to assure them that, there's some kind of structure and some kind of solid foundation that, the most vulnerable in our society do not have to go through this anxiety once again?
No, I think the most exciting things that the Sassa, both Sassa and SAPO, that particular relationship has been strengthened. We know that we are working together to make sure that our people get their grants every month, and the intention is to make sure that 17 million beneficiaries of social grants do not go through that particular stress again. So, I mean, I'm happy that we are observing those particular positive steps, but when something positive happens, somebody will always try to sneak something very negative. What we are doing through communications campaign, because we thought it's also important for us not to leave our beneficiaries behind. That's why we identified all these particular stakeholders to say, without undermining other platforms, but it's important for us to make sure that, the person-to-person contact, the communication, especially at our local offices. We said our local office managers there, they must have that particular person-to-person contact, especially in terms of communicating whatever new product that we might be having on a daily basis, because at least it brings the anxiety levels down, and at least people want assurance that when they go, things went very smoothly. But there is this naughty child who would always want to come in and just confuse the beneficiaries. And I think beneficiaries get confused very easily, especially through, lies fly very quickly. So we think those who have been abusing the situation in terms of marketing their product, they will withdraw that particular advert without any. We don't want any court challenges and so on. We think that they will do the most sensible thing and just pull down the advert.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on the story. Thank you so much for giving us that clarity. We certainly appreciate it. And of course, we do hope that those that benefit from it, they also have that information disseminated to them and that they have an understanding of exactly what is going on. Thank you so much for your efforts this afternoon.
Zolilwela Izwela Zolilwela Izwela Zolilwela bo Izwela 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 me Izwela me Izwela me